Hello everyone, this is Kitsu Ronin aka Sir Rob, here with some more Chrom Assault. So, before I start, I just want to say that this video is extra long because I capped one of my failed runs, and that run failed in the 7th match. And so I'll include timestamps so that you can just skip to the successful run. And I just wanted to keep this one because I thought there were some good matches here. And I had the recording saved, so why not? So Fjorm is able to tank and kill Legendary Chrom pretty easily. I didn't stack her attack stat quite right, but thankfully his Chrom wasn't very fast, so she was able to double him. And my Astrum has Spur attack res in both the C slot and the S slot, and Raven has drive attack twice, and so Fjorm's attack stat gets buffed really, really high, and I highly recommend doing the same thing if you run Fjorm, because it does make her matchups with Chrom a lot easier and in her favor. And Spur attack res especially is useful because Ice Mirror 2 activates based on her res. And the rest of the match here is quite easy. Flame Emperor is free to play, Winter Hilda is free to play friendly, so they are not really threatening.
Never a doubt.
So Astrum's able to get the kill quite easily, Dimitri was able to kill Hilda fairly easily. And I did make a few team adjustments. I moved Performance Olivia around because I found that one of the teams that really wasn't functioning as well as I wanted to would work a lot better with a dancer, and so I just made some minor adjustments. And since I implemented Dagr in my late season Aether Raids offense, I did change a lot of teams around it, so I haven't fully tested all of them yet, so I'm sure I will make more adjustments moving forward. This team is very annoying. It has Legendary Chrom, a Dancer, there's Dagr, and I really don't like this map, specifically when Chrom is involved and a dancer, just because those breakable blocks are there and there's really not that much room to move around. So I just brought Ninja Lin here because I think it would just make the match a whole lot easier because she does have that broken duo skill. Unfortunately, she's not she's not able to kill Chrom. I shouldn't be too surprised by that, but I was sort of expecting to just one-shot everything. So I use the Lightning Charm here, so I can get that kill. I use her duo skill to take out New Year's Peony, and then that Dagr's not too threatening anymore. Unfortunately, I probably would have appreciated having that Ninja Lin available for the later matches, so maybe not the smartest idea to field her so early on. So their team does not have a Legendary Chrom, but it does have Azura. Thankfully, Shamir is really good at dealing with her, and she's really good at dealing with everyone, honestly. So now that she's out of the way, the match is fairly simple. This Brave Edelgard is very bulky, and there are a lot of defense styles, so I do get cornered, and the match does get a little a bit tougher than it normally would.
What is it?
And I think the map really has to, it plays a role in the difficulty, because I really don't do well when there's breakable blocks involved, and there's a lot of fortress tiles as well, so
Okay.
Olivia with Triangle Adept and Axe Breaker does 0 damage to this Edelgard because she is on that defense tile. And Maria has Pain, but Edelgard's mobility is pretty good, especially with Dagr involved.
To work.
So I
Okay.
really wanted to use Pain on this Edelgard, but I just didn't have an opportunity where I could do that safely.
Okay. What is it?
And so my positioning's a little better here.
Okay.
This Edelgard, I have to take her out in this turn, because otherwise she's gonna kill either Shamir or Claire. And because she's on that defense tile, I'm really struggling to do damage to her. And it's unfortunate because I think if it wasn't for this map, I would be able to move around a lot more easily and take them out without much issue, but so I decide to use Pain and then refresh Maria and then use Pain again.
Fine.
And it doesn't really
To work.
mesh well with Shamir because Shamir wants the opponent to be at full health so that she's able to get her solo condition off. I do use the Fear Charm so that she's not able to counterattack.
To work.
And it's unfortunate because I already used up 2 items at this point, and it's only the 3rd match.
Very well. Fine.
Thankfully this Dagr does not have nearly as high defense as that Edelgard, so Shamir is able to take her out. This next match also does not have a legendary Chrom, and in fact it does not have a Dancer, so I wouldn't say it's easy. Legendary Leif is there, Ninja Lin is there, 2-0 Ephraim is still a fairly threatening unit. I decide to just tank this Leif with Bowie, and I don't want to have my allies too close to him in case Bowie doesn't kill Leif and Leif activates his ranged Gale Force.
Let's go.
But thankfully Bowie does get the kill.
You have
And thankfully this duo Ephraim doesn't have distant counter, because otherwise I think the match would have been a little more difficult.
What are you thinking?
Soth does have Wind Sweep, but
Let's go.
he doesn't really do damage. But I do attack him with Soth anyway, just so that Ephraim gets the debuffs and that Chrom and Bowie are able to take him out. Thankfully, there's no crazy movement shenanigans going on with Ryoma and Ninja Lin. But
Sure.
I'm hoping I can take them out in this turn, but it doesn't look good. Bowie can one-shot Ninja Lin, and I don't think Celica can one-shot Ryoma. But I remember that Chrom has close counter, so the Ryoma is not an issue. Alright, this next team also lacks a Dancer, and there's no legendary Chrom, so I lucked out here. But I do have to be careful. Not because of the legendary Seliphs, definitely not because of them, but that New Year's Alfonse is going to be sort of annoying because I do believe that there is infantry pulse on this team, and so he's going to have his special fully charged and his weapon effect will be active. And because Legendary Chrom is so prevalent during this season, I really don't want to use my best green units. And I think about using this team, but then I remember that duo Ephraim is there, and he would literally eat that entire team alive, so I ended up going with my team with Melkana instead. And this team, I use Melkana in Aether Raids with Melkorin as support. And I used to use Elise, but she doesn't really fit on any of my teams anymore in Aether Raids. So I did briefly consider tanking that New Year's Alfonse with Canna, but due to infantry pulse, I decided it would be safer to just let him be for the time being.
Of course.
And I think I was being overly cautious here. I figured I could try to tank both of the legendary Seliphs at the same time. And I take that duo Ephraim out with Elise because I just found a way that I could do that while keeping her solo condition active. And so that was convenient. And I end up taking out this legendary Seliph with Elise. And that's poor legendary Seliph. He is not good at all. Yeah, so I don't even use Kana to attack these Seliphs, and that's one of the major reasons why I brought him in the first place. And Elise is able to take out this Alfonse easily as well, and I just found that so funny because I wasn't expecting Elise to carry that match at all, but she did. Her refine is fantastic. So here Legendary Chrom is again. I missed him. He is with that Valentine's Leaf. And so because that Valentine's Leaf is such a threat, I really want to bring a blue tome unit with our Tome Breaker. And thankfully, I do have a team that has both a Chrom counter and a blue Tome unit with our Tome Breaker. And that our Tome Breaker unit is Renea. And she's unmerged, but she is good enough to take out that Valentine's Leaf. But there's the matter of actually getting her over there. I don't want her to get killed by Legendary Chrom. If I attack her in the traditional area where those defense tiles are, I think Chrom would definitely get into range of her. And so what I want to do is try to get Renea all the way over to that forest tile on the bottom right on turn 1. And it does take a bit of time for me to think of how to do that.
Round we go.
But I figured it out. Because Ryoma has guidance, he's able to reposition Renea all the way over there. And I was pretty thrilled that I was able to do that because I don't think Alm or Ryoma will be going down. I think they'll be going after Merrick. Well, yeah, Alm did go down, but he wasn't in range of Legendary Chrom. He didn't go down right, so that was good.
On my blade.
This way?
And so I just need to get Merrick in a position where he can deal with that Chrom. Unfortunately, Merrick's not really buffed, so I don't know if he's able to get the kill. I'm sure if I took the time to use the calculator, I'd be a lot more confident in my decisions, but I really don't care to spend the time to do that. I do use a Naga's Tear here. That ends up being all of my items. And I did that in the hopes that Chrom would attack Merrick after repositioning Ryoma, but Chrom did not reposition Ryoma for whatever reason. I guess none of my units were technically in range of him because that mountain tile is there. So I do have to move around a bit. I try to get into a space that Chrom can reach, but no one else can reach. And so I opt to go for that bottom right area. Ideally, I would have Renea close to Merrick because she is supported with him. That would give Merrick that additional stat.
On my blade.
But there's not really any way for me to do that, at least not from what I see.
Indeed. Round we go. I understand.
So I just have Merrick try to deal with this legendary Chrom without any stat boosts. He does have his Luna charged, and that's because of his perf. Merrick is pretty darn good at dealing with legendary Chrom.
Trickery, eh?
And if we had more green mages, that would be very, very wonderful, because as good as Merrick is, he is still a Gen 1 unit, and outside of dealing with legendary Chrom specifically, he's not really going to be accomplishing much. So now that it's just Ryoma and Valentine's Alm,
I understand.
it should be an easy match from here, but this Alm has reposition, so I can't really get Ryoma into range of Jacob safely. And so I don't really have an effective way to attack because that Alm does have disencounter, so neither Merrick or Jacob are going to be able to attack him. I have to attack him with Ryoma, who does have a fire sweep sword, so he can attack safely. But I think I sort of forget that Ryoma has hit and run here, because it would be pretty easy for him to attack Duo Alm from there.
Round we go.
So I did already do my arena run today, and I used Dagr again, and Dagr did well. Fjorm also did very well. There were some legendary Chroms. One of the teams I fought, thankfully, was sort of a joke team. Their Surtr, I believe, had a silver axe, and I think they had the deluge dance.
Trickery, eh?
So that was nice.
Indeed.
And so I'm pretty sure Ryoma can kill this Valentine's Alm.
Understood. This way?
But I retreat a bit just because I want to ensure that if something goes wrong, I would be able to retreat safely. And I think that was a pretty good decision. Ryoma is able to take Alm out, and then Jacob and Renea are able to take that Ryoma out.
Round we go.
With pleasure.
And so this last match, I lose this match. There's two legendary Chroms. There's a Dancer, and then there's Iago. And Iago is a bonus unit this week, so there's not a lot floating around, but there are a few. I think this is the only one that I encounter during my arena assault runs. And Iago isn't very threatening as a unit, but he is actually the one that does me in here. And that's because I field my Fae, and my Fae has Triangle Adept, because a plus 10 Fae isn't going to necessarily be able to kill Legendary Chrom, even though he's blue and she's green. So Triangle Adept just gives me that extra insurance that she survives, but unfortunately that leaves her highly vulnerable to red units, even red units that are free to play like Iago. And so I was pretty sad about that, but I was able to get into another streak without much issue. Sometimes you just have to walk away and do it later, but I wasn't feeling too bad about it, so I just went ahead and redid my run right afterwards. I carefully consider my options here, but because there are 2 legendary Chroms, I really have no other choice than Fae. And this team, I didn't consider it at the moment, but it is especially threatening because this is an infantry pulse team. And so Legendary Chrom is going to have a pre-charged Deadeye. And so if you try to tank him, you'd better be prepared for double damage, and you better not be running damage reduction. And even with Triangle Adept, even at plus 10, even with her plus 6 to all stats, she struggles to kill this Legendary Chrom with Deadeye. She struggles to survive him. So my opening move is to, it's pretty much to just do nothing. Because there are those breakable blocks. I don't know how the enemy team is going to react to them. But I'm thinking that Legendary Chrom should technically be able to reach Fae from where she started. And if that Chrom attacks Fae on turn 1, that simplifies things a bit. Unfortunately, Chrom does not get into range of Fae, and that's because he was the one that broke the blocks, and I was thinking that maybe Iago would have broken that block because he's in slot 1, but that was not the case, and I don't quite have a grasp on how that breakable block interaction works.
Yep. Right.
And I'm sure I need to, I'm sure I could figure that out if I studied a bit harder, because I am aware of that instructional academy done by Mia, and I have consulted that in the past, and it's very useful, but it can be a bit technical for me, and so even if I read through it, I don't still fully understand things sometimes. And so at this point I realized that this Legendary Chrom does have Deadeye, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I can't actually tank him with Fae? Because I have fought pre-charged Deadeye Chrom before, and he just eviscerated me, so I'm feeling very scared at this point. And so I think, like, can I just retreat for a bit and then attack Chrom in the player phase?
Right.
I don't think that's the best idea, because
Let us fly.
there's that other Chrom there, and there's a dancer there, and Iago can easily kill Faye.
Yeah.
So I just decide that no, I have to tank this Chrom with Faye now, because otherwise I'm going to lose the match. And I do position Anand adjacent to Halloween Niles, and I don't want to fully say that was a mistake. Maybe it was. But because of that, Niles gets panicked, and so
Good prank.
that creates an issue because now, and I don't know if he would have been able to anyway, but he definitely can't kill Iago at this point. And again, I'm not sure it would have mattered because I don't think Niles would have had a way to get out of there safely. Because Chrom will definitely kill Niles in one hit. Because Chrom does have that armor effectiveness, and even if Niles was not armored, he would still probably die to Chrom just because Chrom is Chrom. And so, at this point, I really have nowhere to run. You can see that there are exactly one free tile on the boat itself. The tile Anand is on is not a boat tile, that's a wall tile, so Niles cannot go there, nor Faye. So, two of my units have to be in the danger area. And Iago is targeting someone is going to get hit by Iago no matter what. And on the bottom right side of the danger zone, Chrom is in range. And it wouldn't be so much of an issue to have Sarah or Anand tank Iago, because they can totally do that because Iago is not that fast. Unfortunately, if Iago does attack Sarah or Anand or something, that Chrom is going to use to change fate on him, and then he's gonna get an attack in, and someone will definitely die. And then Iago would probably get refreshed by Peony, and then he would probably kill someone. So it just takes me a good long while to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do, and I'm pretty sure at this point I've lost. But I have had clutch wins before, so I don't necessarily want to give up at this point, especially since it is the 7th match. What I end up doing
Leave it to me.
is I have Anand get into attack range of Iago in hopes that Iago will target her instead of Faye. Because I think if Iago does not kill Faye, then he will attack the unit that can't counterattack. And I think there is a threshold where he will still attack the unit he does more damage to. I don't know exactly what that threshold is, but at this point I don't really think that I have any other options. So I just hope that this Faye survives that
A
Iago,
hard choice. Leave it to
or
me.
that Iago doesn't attack her at all and chooses to focus on Anand instead. Unfortunately, this Iago does end up attacking Faye, and he does one-shot her, and then Chrom takes Sarah out. So that is the run. Yeah, and that was an unfortunate end. Anyway, on to part 2. I adjust my skill sets to ensure that all the seals are applied correctly. And wouldn't you know, there's a legendary Chrom there. And that bodes well because when you see a Legendary Chrom, you know the match is going to be easy because Legendary Chrom is such an easy unit to deal with. And that's why everyone loves Water Season. But in this case, it's pretty easy to manipulate Chrom's movement here. Dimitri moves straight down, Chrom repositions Dimitri, and then he attacks Fjorm. Fjorm is on the defense tile, and she's getting all of the attack buffs. This time, she's getting her full buffs because I positioned everyone correctly. She's able to deal with Chrom pretty handily, and all that's left are these two armor units and this enemy legendary Dimitri. And Dimitri's not too much of a threat against my team because I do have my own Dimitri, and he can take out enemy legendary Dimitris fairly painlessly. It's the Winter Sothis that I'm sort of worried about because she is so fast, and my Astrum has null follow-up, but he doesn't have any speed boosting skills.
I will fight. Yeah.
He is able to deal with the Edelgard though. Null follow-up really neuters her.
Yes.
Never a doubt.
He's not quite able to get the kill in one hit, and he does get under 50% HP, so he's not going to be able to win the matchup against this Sothis.
Let's go.
And Raven isn't able to do it either. So, what do I do at this point?
Never a doubt.
What I end up doing is I have Dimitri move to a space where he's getting the defense tile and Sothis is not. And he's able to do that because he does have Odd Tempest.
I will fight.
And I want to tank Sothis here because otherwise she's going to get her Sirius off. And Sirius is the reason why she is able to kill basically my entire team.
I'll comply.
So definitely want to enemy phase her. And Dimitri's also very fast, so I don't think Sothis is going to be able to double him. Whereas she probably would double Astrum. Yeah, so Dimitri is in fact able to double Sothis, which is very impressive, and then he's able to one-shot that other legendary Dimitri. So I did pick up Monster Hunter Rise. I started playing it a few days ago. I played it a lot during the weekend, and I am enjoying it quite a bit. I do think it's probably one of the best games on the Switch. And it is quite a time sink, but it's a very enjoyable game, and it's a cooperative game. So I do recommend picking it up if you have any interest in that sort of game. So this team has Legendary Chrom and Duo Lit, and the other units they're not nearly as bad as those two. And I believe I have fought this team in one of my failed attempts that was not recorded.
What should I do?
And Picnic Leo does very well against Ninja Lin, as we all saw last week. It was very strange because the game sort of like froze for a second there. And I don't know if it's because of the save skills, but like there must have been some sort of weird interactions going on because the game doesn't usually stutter like that.
Noted.
I'm fairly confident that Reinhardt will be able to take out this Chrom in one round because this Chrom does have life and death. And now that I'm seeing this Reinhardt, I am reminded that I did end up subscribing to the Fey Pass. This is the third time I've subscribed to it.
Yes?
And I normally spend a little bit on Fae around this time of year. And I think this batch was pretty good value because I use Reinhardt, Micaiah, and Lilina. And so Reinhardt is indeed able to take out that Chrom pretty easily, even with that defense tile.
This way?
Oh boy, and here we go. This Idunn has far save, and this Reinhardt is able to survive combat with her.
Yeah?
And so, I don't think anyone else would do damage to that Idunn.
This way?
And so, thankfully, this Hector and Idunn, they rally each other. And so they don't move at all. And so I'm just able to attack her over and over and over and over again with this Reinhardt until she dies.
I shall do it.
And Reinhardt does barely any damage to her. Like, she didn't take any damage at all during that combat because she does have
Show me the way.
she gets her special charged and she can use Ether, which restores her HP. And she just so happens to restore the exact amount that Reinhardt does in one round of combat.
Perplexing, isn't it?
What should I do?
And regarding the Fey Pass, I did also end up picking up Brave Ike, which was an additional $5. And that's just because I used Brave Ike in Ether rates.
This way? I shall do it.
Yeah?
And yeah, I've never really had an issue with the Fey Pass. I know it's very controversial for a lot of people, but I personally like it, just because I do want to support the game. I want to keep it alive. I don't want to go too crazy on it. I don't want to spend all of my money on it, but I do play the game every day. I enjoy it, and so I don't feel bad about supporting it. And I think the Fey Pass is a good way to do that.
Let's go.
And if I did it every month, I think that would get very expensive, but
I serve the planet.
Yeah?
I don't mind doing it every so often, and it is a good value.
Proceed with caution.
This team does not have any dancers or legendary Chroms. I wasn't expecting that Alm to do that much damage against Robin, but thankfully Robin did survive, and that was because he was on that defense tile. Again, I'm not really a fan of this map because there are so many breakable blocks and defense tiles.
Caution.
I think it's sort of in favor of the defense team. Thankfully, this team isn't too difficult to deal with. Priscilla has gravity, and so that hampers the enemy's movement quite significantly, especially since they don't have any dancers and they're all bunched together. And so I have Seth tank this Ross, and I moved the way I did so that Seth could get his attack defense link in. And it's a little redundant because Robin's perf grants tactics buffs as well, but Robin can't buff himself, so I like having that combination of Seth and Robin to ensure that everyone gets buffed
Proceed with caution.
across the team. And so Seth is able to take out that Ross. Priscilla uses gravity on Eliwood so that he can't really attack Seth. Unfortunately, we get into another situation where my team hardly does any damage to the enemies. And since they only have one movement, because of gravity,
prepared.
they go into another rally loop and they don't move.
Yes?
And so I just do chip damage, and I do that over and over and over and over again.
Lead on. Your orders.
And Robin does 2 damage to this Eliwood. But thankfully,
Onward.
there's nothing stopping his special from getting charged up, so he is able to get bonfires off.
Yes?
I am
Yeah,
prepared.
this takes
Understood.
a hot minute.
As you will.
So I was talking last week about how
Your orders.
I gave my Oscar pulse smoke from one of the Freyas that I pulled.
Yes?
Proceed.
And I did end up using him in Ether Raids last week. I used him on Astra Season as a Gale Forcer.
Onward.
I am
And I used him
prepared.
in most of my matches, and yeah, I did pretty well. I was able to stay in the vault, and
As you will.
I'm not sure Pulse Smoke necessarily played much of a role in
I serve the
my
clan.
survival,
Yes?
but Oscar did perform quite well,
With caution.
As you
and
will.
I am focusing on merging him up now.
Your orders.
And this Tiki, I was kind of worried because Dedu's res isn't the best, but
I am prepared.
he has 30 res, so it actually isn't as bad as I
Lead on.
had it in my head. And so he takes 0 damage from this Tiki, and because he has Vengeful Fighter, I was able to kill her without much issue. And that Vengeful Fighter came from one of the Fallen Grimas that I pulled when I was summoning for Dagr. And that was very nice because I like to do a lot as a unit, and Vengeful Fighter is perfect for him. This team
Your plan.
I have a bit of trouble against, and it's sort of embarrassing because
All right.
this team is sort of a joke team.
You have my all. Gotta stay on guard.
Because I did see that deluge dance there. And I don't think that Chrom is highly invested. He is just using close counter. And that Chrom also has deluge dance.
Let's go.
So this it's sort of embarrassing that I did not do as well as you would expect, given that the enemy team isn't that difficult,
What are you
or given that the enemy team is intentionally not difficult. But I don't really have effective enemy phase units against that Hinoka, and so she is a big reason why this match is difficult for me. And so what I want to do here is just take that Catria out,
Your plan.
and it's a little tricky to get Chrom over there, and I do have to kill her with Chrom. Bowie is not going to be able to kill her because he won't be able to get the double. Although, and I don't really use this effect too often. I wasn't thinking about his close counter effect, and I think Bowie with his close counter would have been able to deal with that Catria on his own.
You have my
But I am able to get Chrom over there after doing some wonky positioning stuff. And now I have to deal with this Chrom and Hinoka. Sadly, their ranges are overlapping, so I can't tank Chrom with Bowie. I don't think he'd do very well against Hinoka. So I just let them get a little closer, and Hinoka is now in a really bad position. Celica cannot attack her, from where she is, and I can't really position anyone that much. Not a lot of room to move around. And so I end up using an item. Because Bowie is able to do enough damage to kill Chrom if Chrom is hit by a lightning charm.
Let's go.
And I have to be a bit careful with my movement here, because my objective is to get Chrom close enough where he can attack Hinoka.
All right.
And after positioning Celica there, I was able to take her out. Next up is this team with legendary Dimitri. There's no Chrom or Dancer here, so it's not going to be too complicated. I have some flexibility with who to choose here. And so I end up going with this team with Melkana. And I don't think there's much reason why I chose this team necessarily. It does have that gravity support, which is always nice. So Arvis isn't really a unit that I encounter in the arena too often, just because his PST is low. Honestly, I'm surprised I encountered this team at all, because there is only one legendary unit, and that Arvis is there. But he's not really much of a threat. So I mentioned I was merging up Oscar, and I was building Keaton, but because since we're seeing Tempest Trials units as rewards for doing events, I'm going to hold off on building him, and I am building him for the arena, but it's going to be a few months until Keaton is a reward, if IS decides to actually make this a recurring pattern. So he's not really going to be able to score better than any of my other arena units at the moment, so I'm not really pressured to get into +9 at the moment.
Let us go.
And I think my feathers would be better put into Aetherites.
Let's go.
But I do like Keaton a lot.
All right.
He is a player phase unit, and ideally, I think he works best as an enemy phase unit, but I think he will work out as a player phase unit. I don't really need to use him on Water Season because I do have Yorm, who's able to take out Legendary Chrom now, so I don't think the other seasons necessarily need an enemy phase green unit so much. And I am not really happy about running into this team. I really don't like seeing New Year's Peony anymore. I'm tired of her. I'm tired of Ninja Lin. I'm tired of Water Legendaries. And so my thought is, oh, I can just use Picnic Leo, and he will be able to deal with everyone pretty easily. But no, I don't have Picnic Leo because I used him earlier. And I don't think I can use Bowie either. So what do I do? I could use Cecilia. She would be effective against most of the enemy team. And I do think about using Shamir just because as she is an archer and most of the team consists of flyers. And do I go with this team? No. No. Anyway, the double special heroes banner was released, and oh, right. I couldn't think of a team to use, so I just went, let's just use the win button. So the double special heroes banner released. Tibarn was on there. I don't quite recall if I talked about Tibarn last week, but I was thinking about pulling for him. I ended up not doing that because I feel like if I pull for a Tibarn, I want it to be the red Tibarn, because he's the one that I have a higher chance of merging up. Because I don't think I'll ever be able to merge up Pirate Tibarn, just because I really don't like pulling on seasonal banners. And that's because you don't have a chance of sparking for them, and they're not necessarily going to improve your arena score or your Aetherine score. It takes me a while to figure out what to do here. What I wanted to do was attack the enemy Ninja Lin with my Ninja Lin, and then refresh my Ninja Lin with Olivia, and then kill the legendary Leif, and then use Ninja Lin's duo skill to take out the legendary or the New Year's Peony. Unfortunately, I can't think of a way to get Olivia over to where Ninja Lin is. I think if Est had repositioned, she might be able to, maybe, but she has a drawback. So I just retreat and get the enemy closer to me. Ninja Lin isn't quite able to take out this Dimitri. I reposition Ninja Lin. And I believe my Har has good flyers. The majority of this team has good flyers or some other flyer boosting skill. And I don't think I am super aggressive here. What I just do is I take out this New Year's Peony and then I retreat. And this Dimitri's not running on Tempest. Ninja Lin's not running any positional assists or skills. So I'm able to retreat without much fear. Ninja Lin is basically able to sweep the rest of the team. And I did have those other units on main team there for some reason, other than being reposition bots, but Har and Est haven't really done anything lately.
Fine, what's next?
On it.
But no, I'm not able to sweep the entire team. But now I am. And I think that was just because Dimitri was on the defense tile. And the last team has legendary Chrom again. But because the other team members, because they're armors, and because they're on the other side of the map, I don't think Chrom will be able to use them to extend his range. So I think this map lends itself well
Your order.
to me fighting this defense team.
I can do that.
No.
So I noticed that even though Emerin has attack opening and I designed this team so that everyone has the same attack, only Aversa is getting the attack boost here. And that's because I gave Aversa Dragon Flowers this week, so her attack stat's actually higher than everyone else's. And
Okay.
it's not much of an issue moving forward because right now Aversa has the attack defense seal, and so I can just change that to squad ace seal so that her attack is lowered by 1 point.
Care to play?
And the reason I was feeding her Dragon Flowers is because I use her
Certainly.
and Cecilia actually, and Nils in Ether Raids, and I have Aversa supporting Cecilia. I'm not sure Aversa is the best option for that, but I think the reasoning is that if I encounter a team with legendary Edelgard or Brave Edelgard, Aversa should be able to take her out pretty easily, whereas my team would really struggle otherwise.
Care to play? Shall we?
But Cecilia is excellent for Ether Raids because she does counter a lot of the meta units, like Brave Hector, like Legendary Chrom, like Summer Mia, and Bramamond, and all the flying units, because she does have flying effectiveness. So yeah, Chrom is not able to use Jane's Fate to extend his range at all, and that makes this match relatively easy despite Chrom's presence.
What do you need?
I use Pain twice on Chrom to lower his HP so that Cecilia is able to kill him in one hit. And all that's left are these two slow armored units.
Okay. What do you need?
And what I end up doing is I just have Nils tank Idunn for
Yeah?
a good while. And I ended up using that strategy a lot, just whittling down the enemy's HP.
Care to play?
Thankfully, it's not too difficult to do so
I can do that.
in situations like these, because my team does have my teams have the support they need to sustain themselves.
Certainly.
What do you need?
So, last week in my 7th match, I fought the Actuarist.
For P.
And I was mentioning how
Shall we?
they're very.
Yeah?
I feel like he is like targeting me because I
Shall we?
encounter him in the arena. I encountered him in Ether Raids,
Strong.
and sometimes I look up the players that I interact with in the game, because some of these players have Twitch channels and Twitters, and so it's just interesting to learn about who they are. And so I found that the Actuarist actually
P.
does have a Twitch. He does stream,
Certainly.
I can do that.
and
Let us proceed.
his arena assault match last week, in the 7th match, he encountered my team,
Care to play?
and he beat it, of course, but it was still interesting to see someone fighting my team on their stream. Anyway, that's the run. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.